Welcome to A Mess in the Kitchen, the podcast all about demystifying home cooking. I'm Molly Mogren-Cat, a food and travel writer who loves to cook, but is only so at it. My co-host, Dusti Kugler, is a former food stylist, caterer, and food fanatic that always makes cooking look effortless and somehow manages to clean up after herself in the process. We talk recipes, cooking, tips and techniques, our favorite kitchen gear, mishaps, and successes. We believe eating good food at home doesn't have to be so complicated, and if you screw up, who cares? That's why God invented frozen pizza. Here's the show. Hey, Dusti.
Hey, Molly.
You know what time it is?
I do.
It's time for
A Mess in the Kitchen.
Whoop. And today we are talking about a mess in someone else's kitchen that lives in California.
Yes, Erin Gore. So excited.
So, today we're talking about cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
Taboo subject? Maybe. We don't know. I guess we're in a place where it's not quite legal yet.
No, not yet.
So obviously I've never tried it.
Me either. Never once.
But I definitely am cannabis curious. And so that's why I wanted to have Erin on. She is a personal friend. She went to college with my husband. I guess technically that means she went to college with me because we were at UW-Madison at the same time. But
right.
I didn't know her except for, I told you that. I found a picture of me out at a bar recently and I saw Erin in the background.
That's so funny.
I know. It's so
Small
weird.
world.
I'll just tell you guys a little bit about her.
Great.
And then we'll get into the interview.
Fill me in.
Erin Gore is the founder and CEO of Garden Society, a cannabis company in Northern California. She's a fearless advocate for woman-owned cannabis businesses and equally dedicated to breaking the stigma and rewriting the script around the plant. With a degree in chemical and biological engineering from the University of Wisconsin-Madison, clearly she's smart.
Sorry, better dead than red.
What?
I said it. I said it. You're welcome, Beth.
Go Bucky. Erin is also fluent in science-based talk of cannabis and production. Her name regularly appears on the top women in cannabis lists nationally. She's been recognized by Forbes as a powerful and innovative woman in cannabis, and most recently as a 2021 top female business leader by the North Bay Business Journal.
That's a big deal.
She's a big effing deal.
Yeah.
So I guess without further ado, let's
do it.
Erin Gore, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks,
Mess in the
Molly.
Kitchen.
Thank you for having us.
It is so good to see your face.
Thank you. We're so happy to be here. And thank you for your patience. It's been a crazy summer, hasn't it?
Yeah, probably less so. I mean, maybe at least you can like unwind with weed at night.
Right? Right. I love the question of how do you relax? Hello.
I love it.
Oh my gosh. So, well, Dusty, you probably know this, but so my husband knows Erin from college.
Yes.
And we were out visiting I don't know, it's kind of been a while. It was like Arlene was a baby.
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 It was exactly 5 years ago because my 25th wedding anniversary is next week, and it was my 20th wedding anniversary.
Okay, so Dusty happened to be in Sonoma that same weekend that I saw you.
Cool.
Yeah.
And
just
that
random.
was like the very scary early days of like, it's so funny. So I just negotiated my co-founder Carly to come on board and like had this crazy idea. And you guys were there and we were talking all about it. And
I remember you were like, it's kind of a secret. Like, I'm not really, it's like kind of parts of it are kind of like maybe not legal yet or something. I don't even know.
Right. I think it was more my husband because the stigma was so real and it is still so real. But like being in the wine industry with a big job, like I had quit my big corporate thing to do this, but he was still like not fully accepting of that I was going to have a marijuana business. And I remember we had to duke it out. I went to a wine dinner shortly thereafter. It was a harvest dinner in October. And I told his farmer friends I had a marijuana business. And he was like, oh my God, you can't say that at my job. I'm going to get fired. And I was like, hey man, it's real. We're pot committed. We funded it.
And it's so funny. So your husband is a wine farmer, Tom Gore. Maybe some listeners have had the Tom Gore wine before.
The Tom Gore wines. Yeah. He's a grape grower by passion and trade. and probably our number one fan and our number one critic when it comes to quality.
Okay, so wine and weed?
Wine and weed. We live a very, very privileged life, I have to say. We're very blessed.
Gosh.
All my Wisconsin friends are like, "Oh, can you ship me some wine and stuff it full of weed? Can you do that, please?"
Are you from Wisconsin?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You are.
For sure.
For sure. You're positive about that. Okay.
Oh, don't you know? Especially if I start smoking and drinking, then it gets real thick. Sorry. I love it. We go back all the time, actually. Not all the time, but we go back 2 or 3 times a year still. So, yeah, I'm happy that we're finally, I think, coming through COVID where we can start seeing people. Because for the last couple of years, we've been so locked down, and my dad's been sick. So we haven't got to see a lot of friends. Like, we haven't seen you guys, Molly, in forever. And so many college friends. And I'm excited. Hopefully around the holidays, we can start getting together again. We'll see how it looks, but
it's nice.
Can you tell us a little bit about where did the idea for Garden Society come from?
Yeah, good question. So my company is called Garden Society, as you just said. I was a chemical engineer in school, and I walked on to the basketball team actually, and loved my athletic life. I realized really quickly I didn't want to be a full-time athlete because I needed to go to school. So I was actually a practice player. I was a Title IX player, but I played with the team for 4 years. And then once I started my first corporate job, I had lived in Chicago for a year, moved out to LA. I was living in California, and I started having severe chronic pain. I had my first hip rebuilt in 2011, my second hip rebuilt in 2012 from college sports.
Oh my gosh.
And I just say sports in general, like between skiing moguls and hitting trees and playing basketball and I'm 6'2", so being tall and irresponsible.
I want to be 6'2".
Oh, until you go shopping.
But still.
Anyway, I realized really quickly I'd either be highly addicted to opiates or I had to find an alternative solution that allowed me to not be high all day and to be present and actually manage my pain. And I was living in California, and I had just started dating my now husband, and he said, "You should get your medical marijuana card." And I said, "Okay." And I always associated cannabis to just like casually smoking in college or in Chicago, and it was taboo, and I liked it, but it was like, I didn't want to get in trouble. So when I was in California, I ended up getting my card and ended up going to dispensaries. The medical market in California under Prop 215 existed. And I started my journey into the cannabis industry as a user looking for relief. What I realized is that products were way strong and tasted terrible and not for me. And all the like OG cannabis stories we all have of bad edibles. And so being a chemist, I ended up really diving into the chemistry of how to make them, the stoichiometry, how to do extracts, all of that. And so I recovered from my surgeries, and I still had this passion place for cannabis because I realized how much better it made me feel, to be honest. And I was living at this point now in San Francisco and then wine country. And I had this really crazy career. And what I realized at a moment was that my immediate needs changed, but that cannabis was this thread for me. So I'd recovered from my hips, but now I had a big job and I was going through fertility problems and I couldn't sleep at night, and I was traveling to China all the time. And I kept turning back to weed and turning back to weed and turning back to weed to just be the best version of myself I could be, get a good night's sleep, drink less alcohol, cut loose on a Friday night and have fun. Like whatever I needed it for, I could find a way to use it, and it made me feel great. And then my girlfriend found out in 2014 that I was making edibles. I had this edible lab at my house, and she's like, "I want to come over." And I was like, "I mean, okay, sure. But you might get fired from your job, but sure, come on over." And so she came over, and we started doing a high holiday cookie exchange, basically, where we'd make a bunch of edibles, and everybody would bring a recipe, and a couple of my girlfriends were chefs, and I would do all the dosing and the chemistry, and everybody would take stuff home. And they started really growing in size. And then in March of 2016, I had my aha moment, basically, where I looked around. I literally told my then husband a week before, I had no friends in California. I wanted to move back to Wisconsin. I wasn't happy. I had had multiple miscarriages. I won Business of the Year. My mom's best friend had stage 4 breast cancer. And she looked at me and she's like, life is short. You need to do what you're meant to do. And I was like, I don't know if I want to be here. I was just in one of those very reflective moments.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up having a high holiday baking party with my girlfriends. And I looked around and there was over 50 women at my house. And I realized through this moment that I felt normal for the first time. Like I felt like what I was dealing with, everyone was dealing with. And I was like, this is not a me problem. This is a woman problem. And I had this huge relief. And I felt like I had this community of women that I didn't recognize I had. And I was so hungry for. And all of a sudden I realized like I had friends and I had a community. And this thread through it all was cannabis. And they were all there for the same reason I was there, was trying to find education and products and to feel better. And so that was really the impetus. I like literally flew to China 2 weeks later and quit my job. And then after a little roller coaster of freakouts, like set out to build products and community for women. And it's cool that it's to this day still the same kind of core mission with a little bit of tweaks and pivots along the way.
Of course. And do you feel like, I mean, do you feel like women use cannabis differently or are looking for different things than men?
Okay, well, it's interesting you say this. So we thought we were for women. We started for women, but what we've got to now is 67% of our consumers are men. So we're really trying to be inclusive of men because what we are is a quality cannabis brand that is really providing education and high quality products that are efficacious. So they do what they say they're going to do. I think though, specific to your question around women, I think women do need different products. I think more than anything, women need education. And so if you're a dude, like I can't tell you how many weed events we go to and a guy will like just eat something and be like, oh my God, this is so good. What is it? How many milligrams are in there? And if you're a woman, you're like, and I'm like, you don't even like, what if I told you 100? What if I told you 1,000? You just already ate it. Right? If you're a woman, you like look at it and be like, how many milligrams are in here? How long will it last? How long does the effect take? What about my children? Will I be able to pick them up after school? I need to see if I need to evaluate with my nutritionist. If you know what I mean? Like women are so, I mean, let's be real. We have so much responsibility on our plate. Well, we do so much. And we are the ones who are like, how many times has my husband showed up like stoned off his ass? And I'm like, bro, you had all this shit to do. And now you're just like, oh, sorry. And as like the woman, you're like, oh shit, I have all this shit to do. So I can't eat that edible. You know, one could argue we probably should eat that edible, but like, anyway. So yeah, so that's how it all came to be. And I do think we make pretty high dose products. We're not a very low dose company. But we do that because we're really serving this can of confident. And more than anything, we teach women how to be confident in their cannabis usage. So it can be a 2 milligram edible, a 5 milligram edible, a 10 milligram edible. We really teach consumers how to start and how to understand what their body's going through and how to understand the vocabulary, the science, all of that, and like begin on their journey. And then they're brand evangelists for us and they keep coming back to us. So it's been really amazing to build this with my partner, Carly, for the last 5 years and like crazy to see where we started and where we got to.
So how do you exactly educate women? Like people who come to your trade shows, or do you like take phone call appointments? Like how's that?
Yeah, good question. So when we started, we had a call it the modern day Mary Kay. We had like basically weed parties where we would have hosts bring their girlfriends and we'd show up and we'd do cannabis education and we figured out how to monetize it and compliantly sell them product. So we really built a word of mouth marketing campaign through, it wasn't an MLM like you would think of in other products because that's not legal, but more of like a direct sales model. So we started really with these ambassadors, we called them gardeners, and these parties. And we had like years of parties. Then we started selling to dispensaries and then we lead with consumer education. So in the dispensary, we're providing education. We're providing education to the staff. My partner, Carly, runs an incredible marketing program with B2B marketing emails, B2C marketing emails. Now we just closed our Series A financing. So we're launching a paid media program. So ads and digital and social and all the ways that any consumer product good is, markets their products, especially that are more education forward. So like the adaptogenics, the CBDs, like there's so many health and wellness products out there that require so much education. I think the difference is being cannabis, we can't use social media like most people. We can't do a lot of the more traditional marketing approaches, but that doesn't mean we still can't educate these consumers through whether it's us like being like walking billboards or all the way through that entire consumer experience.
I feel like when I met with you out in California, however, 5 years ago, you said something about how likened cannabis to having a glass or two of wine. And I remember at that point being like, okay, that has never actually been my experience. Cause I don't know. I'm not like smoking a lot of weed, except for like one semester of college. But it was always like too much for me. And I thought, God, if this feels like a glass, how could I ever have this experience feel like a glass of wine? What would that even be like? So it got me thinking more about your like precise dosing and all of that.
Yeah.
So I guess if you are, a newbie looking to get into it, what are some tips you have for like starting slow and
exactly.
I don't know.
The biggest thing I would say is buy regulated weed. So there's a lot of illicit market products everywhere, especially if you're in Wisconsin or Minnesota. And so if you can like go to a state where it's adult use legal and purchase product, unfortunately with the with the state legality, it means it's tested when you buy legal weed. It's taxed, it's more expensive versus like illicit market weed would be like the illegal weed, right? Like in the dorms or on the corner or whatever. The difference between the two is that the dose is measured, right? So you really want to know what you're consuming is what you're actually consuming. And so it's really great to start with regulated marijuana products. And then the biggest thing for edibles, I think there's a big misconception, is that edibles are stronger because they are processed through your liver and they take about 90 minutes to take effect. So like anytime anybody's new, we tell them to literally set a timer on your phone because you're anxious and you're excited and you're gonna be like, I don't feel anything. And it'll be like 20 minutes and you're like, I know it's been 90. And you're like, nah. And then you're going to do the Marine Dowd where you have more and more. And then all of a sudden you're like splayed out. Right. So you really want to be intentional. And the other thing I tell women is don't mix it with alcohol. Like really at the end of the day, being deliberate and journaling your experience, like this is what I had this much, this is the time. Unfortunately, because of the legality, the federal research, like we don't know everything there is to know about the endocannabinoid system. And we don't know how a big meal impacts your tolerance or doesn't impact your tolerance. So like what you ate, how you felt, if you're super maxed out on stress and super anxious and you have too much cannabis, you'll probably get super anxious, right? So really like understanding yourself and like going slow and measured until you learn how you react and what you like. And like for the other biggest thing is like CBD products are really fantastic, but there's a lot of really terrible CBD products in the market. So we have a whole line called Common Focus, which is all our high CBD strains. So like when you come to California, you should buy the high CBD products. They're incredible. They're clarifying. I smoke or eat them every time before I go on stage. So they're like incredible to connect the mind and the brain and stop this spinny wheel. But if I were to buy that CBD product on Amazon, it has nowhere near the efficacy of a cannabis-derived CBD because of the entourage effect and the phytolipids and the cannabinoids and the terpenes and like all the plant parts.
And the what?
See, this is where you get like full on geek on us, and we're like,
sorry,
we're like,
it's okay.
Wait, can you say that word again? What was that?
Which one? The cannabinoids or the
cannabinoids?
Phytolipids?
All of
so
them.
That's like THC and CBD. They're the two popular ones, right? And they're really the only ones you need to know about. But I would just say the biggest thing is like, don't be afraid to start. Like, go experiment, and you can't have too much cannabis, and just do it in a safe way. Like, be home, be with your friends. Don't drink alcohol with it because alcohol will exasperate it. So like if you're worried, if you're anxious and worried and you have cannabis and then you drink 2 bottles of wine, you're going to feel like real shit,
Well, I would feel like shit just with
me too. Ugh, I'm too old.
Well, sometimes when people want to party, man, they want to party, right? They're like,
yes.
Go. But I think there's incredible innovation coming and revolution. And I love the advancement of the medical market and the rec market for legalization to bring more access to cannabis products to people, especially across the Midwest and the East Coast.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm super intrigued by it. So I have a really kind of weird question.
Sure.
What do friends of your kids' parents think of your business?
Did you bring any product with you to soccer?
I love it.
Remember, she lives in California.
Oh, that's true.
Do you know where I can buy some mushrooms? And I really want to try acid.
That's hysterical.
And I'm like, I sell cannabis, not drugs.
Right.
Like, really?
Oh, I love that.
Oh
Are you ever going to do a mushroom chocolate bar? Nope, definitely not.
How about
Not
teachers?
now. Well, my son's 3.5, so we're in preschool.
You're good.
And so they're
They'll
like,
probably
are you hiring?
Hiring?
You pay better?
probably. Oh my God.
I know, for real.
This is terrible.
No, for real. Like, that sounds better to work your line and make more money than deal with all these like preschool kids. You know?
Yeah, no kidding.
You could just you should come out with the teacher line.
Right? Seriously.
Yes.
But no, in all seriousness, actually, like in California, look, we live in a bubble. We're in California. I think cannabis is super widely accepted from a consumer point of view. We get a lot of challenges around land use. So like people are like, not in my backyard, there won't be a cannabis grow, and not in my backyard, there won't be affordable housing. And, you know, so there's like a lot of tension around it, but from a, where should the businesses of cannabis be? Not from a consumer perspective. That impacts me because there's not as much retail as there should be. It's not as easy to buy as it should be. But from a consumer lens, there's not as much prohibition as you would think. I think with my family in Wisconsin, you know, it's been really interesting. Like my mom and dad were like, okay, you must, you know, 5 years ago. And then they've really evolved to be like, we're so proud of you. And this is so cool because they also have had their own cannabis journey to like try the products. And my mom's friends are some of my biggest advocates now, you know, and biggest users. Can you please bring a suitcase full back?
Oh my God.
I can't.
Your holidays must be so fun.
Right? But the stigma is still real with like my uncles and aunts and like, you know, there's a reason that prohibition exists, and there's a reason, and there's a lot of falsehoods around safety of children and crime. And you know, one of the big mistakes is that everybody thinks that the cannabis industry works in cash. We all bank. I mean, there's some that don't, but almost all, I would say not almost all, but 75% of the companies bank and have banks. So people are like, oh, I'm worried that you're going to bring crime into my neighborhood. And I was like, well, actually, my security cameras will capture any crime in your neighborhood.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And those police that do patrols will actually protect your house. Right. So the stigma's there, but it's just different.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with Erin. And we're back. So what would you tell someone? I mean, what do you feel like the biggest benefits are of cannabis use?
Yeah, good question. As like all high and mighty as I am on cannabis, like I definitely don't think cannabis solves all. It can solve most, but it can't solve all. So, I mean, pharmaceuticals play a role, right? And Carly and I talk a lot about that. We're very clear not to be medical or prescriptive in our recommendations because we don't want to get into like FDA and advising people. We have some incredible physicians who specialize in cannabis that we can recommend people to. But, you know, when it comes to like, I have this disease or I need this, or like we say, you know, you need to consult with your medical provider for that. Mm-hmm. Cannabis is really just an incredible, multifaceted plant. So it can help you feel calm when your mind is racing. It can help you sleep when you can't stay asleep. I have the 3 a.m. alarm clock internally.
Oh, I do too.
3:17. Yeah, 3:17.
Oh, yeah.
That's really is like 3:21.
Oh, mine's like 3:28.
Yeah. Weird.
That is so weird.
It's like statistically speaking, 1 in 2 women are on prescription sleep aids.
Whoa.
Really?
In this country. Mm-hmm. And we validated it with the survey, and it's real. Mm-hmm.
Wow. I do melatonin.
Yeah.
Yep. There you go.
Yep.
So cannabis is incredible at helping you stay asleep. Edibles, full spectrum, long lasting edibles, you will have the best sleep you can get. It's amazing.
Okay. But do you feel fuzzy the next day? Because I feel like
that's incredible.
So I feel like I do.
Well, how do we get some here?
Too much.
Okay. But I feel like also I'm like, It's like so sad if you have a little chocolate or something and you're like shaving off a tiny little bit and then.
Well, so this is what the problem is with Minnesota, right? Because you guys are in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
And so the problem is you don't have access to quality regulated products. So you're probably doing illicit market products, right? Like somebody's making
well,
it. Well,
actually, mine was purchased
in Cali.
No, yes, it was. But I swear it did not travel with it.
For you, Molly, I would just say like try to figure out like how much you had. But if you have like 2.5 milligrams, you'll be like a baby. You should wake up, have no hangover, sleep good. 5 milligrams. I take 10.
You do. So, that seems like.
But it builds. The more you use it, your tolerance builds up. So you need more. It doesn't reach to a point where it's like, whoa, like it's not like that. But, you know, I think it's actually less tolerance, more comfort. You start using it, you're like, oh,
can you drive with it?
We don't recommend. So like, this is where you need to know your dose, right? So like, I mean, have I been high and driven my car? Yes. You know, but I'm never so high that I'm like inebriated past the point where I can't drive.
That's the thing that's confusing to me. That's the thing that's confusing to me is like just thinking about it being illegal in the Midwest here. Well, not Illinois. I'm from Illinois, but Wisconsin and Minnesota, definitely. And it's big right now. Weed is really big in like high school. It doesn't matter to you guys because you don't have high schoolers, and my kids are past that. But it's weird how it ebbs and flows here. Like, you know, only dirty people smoke pot. Now everybody, all the athletes, homecoming queen, everybody.
And their parents.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm not a smoker.
But
like I'm really bad at it.
If you smoke it, so like this is where the different form factors, like the knowledge, right?
Yes.
So like if you smoke it, the high is immediate. 20 seconds, 30 seconds.
Okay.
So smoking is actually not a bad way if you need immediate relief, like you're stressed out or you're in immediate pain. You smoke it, you're like, okay, I have clarity. It only lasts an hour.
Oh.
So I can get like really high and then come down.
I was wrong.
It's like fast up, fast down, fast up, fast down, right? So like you can smoke at a party, chill, an hour later, drive your car. You're okay. It lasts an hour, hour and a half max. You can, not to high schoolers. I'm not saying that for high schoolers. Let me be clear. I'm talking about moms. Okay?
Yes, gotcha.
I'm talking about moms.
Adults who get it. Yes.
Tinctures take about 15, 20 minutes to onset.
Okay.
Do you guys know what a tincture is? It's like the cannabis and the oil or
it's like a dropper, right?
A dropper or like drinks are very similar. So anything you absorb through your mouth. So think about like the mouth is the form factor. The lungs is a smoke or vape. Same thing with the vape and smoking. So it's your lungs, your mouth. 20 minutes to onset, 3 hours to offset. So 2.5 to 3 hours. So it's shorter, faster onset, shorter offset. And then an edible is like 90 minutes to onset because it's through your liver, and then 6 hours to offset. So like I don't eat edibles and go drive my car at all, but I could smoke at a party and in an hour and a half I'm fine.
Does chocolate count for edible?
Safer than drinking, right? Like chocolate counts for drinking.
Okay, wasn't sure.
Or for edibles,
Yeah, okay. This is so interesting.
See how much education is needed? So much education.
Yeah. Well,
are you going to expand to the Midwest? Are you interested in a third-party partner?
We are working hard to expand to the Midwest. We are coming into our first state, hopefully, potentially before the end of the year. Nice. And then we'll be expanding thereafter. So, right now we're looking at the Ohio, Michigan landscape.
Oh. Yes.
Yeah.
Makes sense because it's legal there, both places, correct?
Legal. Yeah. Minnesota has weird laws with medical and very, that have a very limited market and limited system.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
You know?
Yeah.
So you guys need to do a voter initiative and reform it.
Well, we could just start buying liquor on Sundays here.
Yeah, so. Not too long ago.
I know.
Which I grew up in Illinois where you can buy liquor all day, every day in a grocery store. So it's just weird. I'm like, wait, I have to drive to Wisconsin for what?
Right.
Crazy.
And then Illinois, the cannabis market's going crazy.
I know.
Huge. I think Wisconsin and Minnesota are going to legalize for tax purposes, job creation, tax revenue.
I don't think it's a bad idea. This is super interesting. I'm like so wanting to read so many things about it and
you guys should do when it legalizes. So you can't do it before it legalizes, but when it legalizes, you should do a DIY bake-off with cannabis.
Why can't we just come to California and do it?
Yeah, you should do that too.
We could
just come to California, or go to Illinois or come to California and do a DIY.
Or go to Colorado.
If you go to our site, thegardensociety.com,
yes.
we have a whole bunch of recipes for how to take our chocolates and turn them into things like hot chocolate bombs or, s'mores or this or that. You could do like a chopped rendition of cannabis in the kitchen. That might be a little intense.
I feel like I'd be too afraid to eat anything. Like just like a tiny little nibble.
So interesting though. It's so funny how we're so behind on that here.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
It'll catch up fast when it comes.
If people want to learn more about it, where do they go?
www.thegardensociety.com. And then check us out on Instagram at @GRDN Society. We just had a really cool review of a smoke-off with some really great influencers in LA. So it's pretty fun. So you have to watch it. They do a lot of education on it.
A smoke-off?
Smoke-off. I've never even heard of that. That's so fun.
Thank you so much for joining us. And I feel like we're going to have a lot more questions to ask at some point.
Super fun to talk to you. Thanks for the info.
Likewise. I'm happy to come back.
Okay.
Yay.
Bye,
Thank you, Erin.
Bye.
That was super interesting.
I am so interested in that. And I think I still kind of struggle. Like it's because I'm so much older than you guys. Like it was such a stigma, when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And so I still kind of struggle with that a little bit. But the things she was talking about were like, it totally makes sense. Yeah. But then the practical person in you comes out, like being the mom, like, should I be driving? You know what I mean? That's right. I asked her questions, and I totally get that California feels way differently about that than we do here.
Yeah,
totally
absolutely.
Get it.
But yeah, because as I was saying before, like my weed/cannabis experience has been pretty limited. Except for that one semester of college. But it kind of like scares me a little bit.
Yeah, same. I've said this to you before. I don't like not being in control. I feel like when I drink alcohol, I know when I get to the point where I'm like, okay, I can't have anything else to drink because I'm going fine. Yeah. I can completely control myself. Not that I haven't messed that up before.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's so many unknowns with cannabis edibles, right? That I'm like, shouldn't you only do that at a dead show? Or you know what I mean?
Or just like at home by yourself. Not by yourself, but like
by myself would be weird.
Yeah, but like when the kids aren't there or something.
Yeah.
So her talking through the sort of, like if you were to go to a dispensary, you could talk to the person working there about like, how long will this take? What's the appropriate dosage? Here's what I'm looking to feel like or whatever. Just having that a little bit more information because
I liked her technicals. Like
I know
it was very like heady. And I was like, oh my God, that's so interesting. And when I went to a dispensary in Colorado, it was legal.
Yeah.
It was super interesting, but it wasn't as like scientific. And that just is so intriguing to me.
Well, yeah, it's sort of like your bartender is not going to tell you the science of alcohol.
Right.
It's going to like be your friend.
But I did smell a lot of really good weed. It smelled amazing. I was like, what? And the effects, I don't know because I'm, like I said, I'm just kind of worried about that kind of stuff, but it was super interesting.
Well, the thing that has really stuck with me with how she explains things like appropriate dosing and whatever is that imagine if you went to a party or a bar and someone gave you a clear drink and you didn't know if it was Everclear or vodka or like anything water. You know what I mean? Like you just don't even know what you're getting into.
Right.
So that's why having it like legal and regulated makes so much sense because then you know what you're getting into.
I also liked her explanation of like time to come up and come down. Like I never have thought about that before because it's always just been unknowns.
Yeah.
Like, oh, if I smoke this thing, am I going to be high for a week? Or is it just going to be like an hour and then you like, eat a bunch of stuff and then fall asleep? I don't know. So I'm just intrigued by it because I do think it's a good, like for our state commerce and all that kind of stuff. It's interesting to see how at least legalizing it in where I'm from in Illinois has really turned around. I mean, it's literally like the sin state, as they call it, because everybody's crooked there. But it's really done a lot for their economy. So I don't know. Well, I don't know how I feel about it, actually. I want to know more.
I'm definitely curious. And part of it, too, because, way earlier this season, we talked about how alcohol is my nemesis now.
Yes.
And so it seems like if you were, like, I would love to replace a glass or two of wine with something else that's like, I don't know, just sort of relaxing, but doesn't like destroy me the next day. And so this
not
could
over
be
the
a
top.
Good, that could be a good option.
Yeah. I thought that was super cool. It was a great interview.
Cool. Thanks, Erin. You rock.
Thanks, Erin. You are the best. I wanted to make a joke, but I couldn't think of anything.
We could think there's so many like weed puns.
I know.
Could have. You're our favorite bud. That's so stupid.
That's a good one though.
Okay. Anyway, should we talk about listener questions?
Yes. Who's got one?
Heidi.
Oh, Heidi. So Heidi says, we eat mostly vegan, vegetarian, and I hate beans and barely tolerate lentils. It's the texture. Can you train your body to like certain foods? I don't know. I guess. I mean, I trained myself to like Bloody Marys.
See, I think you can train yourself to like things.
Yeah.
I don't know, though, about the texture thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm not really big on textures of like bananas and stuff.
Yeah.
But as I've gotten older, same with tomatoes, the loogie-like ones. Ugh.
Oh, yeah.
But,
no, I don't like tomato and also
but
oysters.
I didn't like them at all. But you have to have them right. So maybe your lentils and your beans aren't, maybe you should try them a different way, like on a cold salad or something, like.
Yes.
Instead of having hot beans, because lentils can be super mushy.
Yes.
But they can also be really good. So I think, yeah.
I think you can too. So remember, didn't I tell you I trained myself to like pickles and olives?
Yes.
I didn't like either. So
I think you were in my life when you were doing that.
No, I was.
Yeah, I remember you doing it.
So first of all, it's a mindset thing. And then you have to commit to and it especially works if you're out at a restaurant, because honestly, they're probably better at cooking than, I know Heidi. I know she's a great cook, but you go to a restaurant, just order something. You're like, I don't know if I'm necessarily going to like that, especially if it's like a side or an appetizer, something small, something like you can split with people.
Yeah, sharing.
And then you
that
try it.
Helps.
And I feel like if you try something 10 times, you start to understand what's likable about it.
Yeah, I think that's a good theory. I did that with Bloody Marys. I just kept thinking pizza. Because I was so jealous watching people drink them. I was like,
fun.
They're tomato juice, which makes me want to hurl.
And clam juice.
Yeah. Oh, that one's really good though, because it's thin. Doesn't taste like fish. But I did the same thing. But for me, it was more about just wanting the experience of it. And when I read this question, I couldn't figure out what she was eating.
What do you mean?
What are you eating if you're not eating, if you're a vegan?
Oh, I know.
I mean, that's not giving you a lot except for like lettuce and vegetables.
Well, this is why she's in there's a cancer element in their story. So that is partially why
clean eating.
Yes.
Okay. Getcha.
But yeah, I think the point is she's like, we need to get protein into our lives somehow. Sure. So like, how do we do that?
I get it. I say try a recipe or two of making them differently. Like I can't think of where I went a couple weeks ago and I had a lentil salad. But it wasn't just lentils and carrots and mushy. You know, it wasn't. It was like on gem lettuce, and they were really good and crisp. And oh God, they were so flavorful. But
they probably have bacon in them.
Probably. I don't know. You can do tofu-bacon.
Tofu-bacon?
Yeah, like tofurkey. I don't know.
I don't know.
But maybe just try something different. Try them a different way and maybe it'll have a different outcome. Yeah. Or do the 10-time test. I think that's a good one.
I like the 10-time test.
It's a good one.
All
right.
Okay. Well, Heidi, let us know how that goes.
Yeah.
If you have a question for us, you can call us, I guess.
Yeah, says right here. We have a hotline.
I know. We have a hotline. 612-930-2899, which is also 612-930-BUZZ.
Why is that so funny
every time?
I
don't know why. It just is.
It is.
You can email us at amessinthekitchenpod@gmail.com or on Facebook at amessinthekitchenpod and Instagram amessinthekitchen.
Love it.
Okay. cookbook club. How did that Barefoot Contessa split pea soup with crispy kielbasa go, Dusty?
I have to be honest, I didn't cook it.
I know you didn't.
I did tell Molly, though. I didn't just come in and say, oh my God, it was so good. Because I felt I'm a really bad liar. So anytime I'm lying, you can ask anybody in my family.
Do your ears wiggle?
No, I go like this. No, it wasn't that big of a deal. Always.
With a sniff?
Always a sniff. If I'm sniffing after I make a statement, I'm totally full of shit. And I don't do it very much. And that's why. Because it automatically makes me nervous. Because I don't like liars. And I feel so guilty when I don't tell the truth. But I just couldn't swing it.
No, I couldn't believe it. Yeah, you're moving. You don't.
Well, and I kept thinking like stinky sausage in my house that I'm trying to sell isn't going to work.
Maybe if a German grandma is coming.
Hey, German grandma, come on. As long as you buy my house, I don't care who you are.
Well,
so I apologize, listeners. I did not pull my weight.
Well, I'm going to tell you about this recipe because it was so easy. And
the guilt set in when Molly sent me a really pretty picture. It looked so good because typically it looks like vomit.
Oh my gosh.
It looked really good. And I was like, oh, I didn't do it.
It's fine. I'm not mad.
Okay. Well, you can skip one once if you want.
Okay.
How about this? You do edibles and I will cook.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
Sounds fun.
Just kidding, Beth and Twyla and everyone else listening.
The police.
Yeah. Whoopsie.
No, but so split pea soup, I'm unsure if I've ever even had it before.
Yeah, I really like it.
Because, okay, so growing up, my dad had this story about being in Catholic school and how the nuns made him eat it and he puked it everywhere. And that makes you not want to eat it.
Well, and
because it also looks like puke.
And plus the exorcist thing.
Yes.
You know.
Plus, I don't really care for regular peas. I don't even know what a split pea is.
A half a pea? I think it's a half a pea.
Half a pea, but then
they're little.
Yeah, they're
it's
like
a dried half
almost.
Pea. Yeah, kind of. They're good though.
I don't get it. But so I made the recipe. You know, you make you saute a bunch of leeks, carrots, and onion, and then garlic, and then you add the dry split peas, a pound of them, and then 8 cups of chicken stock, 2 cups of water, and then you let that simmer with some thyme and bay leaves.
Oh, you know what though? I bet Heidi could make this with vegetable stock.
Oh yeah,
and I wonder if she would like them because they're kind of pureed instead of like being mushy.
Yes. Okay, maybe she should make this. Maybe we should send her this. I'll send her this recipe.
Yeah, I mean without the sausage.
Yes, of course. Yeah, those are like
big no.
Mm-hmm. So, I did all of that. Oh, and you have to put a ham hock in there, which is funny because I had to ask my husband to go to he was going to the store and I had to ask him to get a couple things. And he came home with a giant thing of like pit ham.
Yeah, I know.
I was like,
you have to go to Cub to get a ham hock.
No, actually they had it at Kowalski's in the freezer.
Oh, sure. That makes sense. I think they have those at.
So, it's just like a pig knuckle that's been smoked. Basically, it's in there to give it flavor.
Yeah.
And you take it out before you eat it. And then over the weekend, we had a barbecue and got a bunch of sausages from Kramarczyk's, which is like this Eastern European market. So that's what we used on top of it. It was so good. I thought
it looked really pretty. It really did.
Yeah. So I'd give this recipe I give it 4.7 out of 5 stars.
Good. So you would say like a solid A, but I actually got an F on this one. Sorry.
It's okay.
It happens.
I'm not mad.
I know you're not mad.
Okay. So next week we are going to do, how about this? Butternut squash with brown butter and sage. It's on page 158.
Perfect.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks everyone for listening all the way to the end. Did you have anything to add?
No, it was a super fun episode. I loved it.
Yes.
Really fun.
Cool.
She was so interesting.
Yes.
I'm going to learn more.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thanks.
All right. Bye.
Thank you for listening to A Mess in the Kitchen podcast. We're very impressed that you made it all the way to the end. You can learn more about our show at amessinthekitchen.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram. A Mess in the Kitchen is a production of Matriarch Digital Media. Executive producer, Twyla Dang. Produced and edited by the lovely, wonderful Beth K. Gibbs. production assistant, Mia Register. You can find more great podcasts from Matriarch Digital Media at matriarchdm.com. And until next time, here's to good enough cooking. Cheers.